With the new additions to the Mountain West, the conference has clearly made an effort to raise its national profile. But now that the conference schedule is officially out, the real question is, did any Mountain West team set itself up to possibly be the Group of 6 representative in this year's college football playoff? Let's break it down a little bit and see if it's possible. What's up, fellas? It's Boley. Been itching to talk to y'all, especially now that we are in the weird part of the college football calendar where news is usually slow. Fortunately, though, the Mountain West decided to wake up a little bit and put some interesting headlines out there. I know I'm a little bit late on all these things, but why not? Fill some time, right? So today, I kind of wanted to talk about 3 things that has gone down in this great conference we all love. The first thing, we got to talk about the conference realignment. I mean, we added a team. That is a pretty big deal. Second, we'll actually look at the conference schedules for each team and see who has a workable schedule to possibly get to the championship game. And finally, is the Mountain West positioned to be the top G6 conference going into this year? Now, this is not a full game-by-game prediction video. This isn't even a ranking video like I usually do. That'll eventually come out for the Mountain West and the Pac-12. Look at this more as a who has a realistic shot of winning the conference and how hard will it be for that to happen. So let's start with the biggest move of the offseason so far. North Dakota State going to the Mountain West. I know this happened a little while ago, but it did take me some time to fully understand how massive adding North Dakota State really is for the Mountain West. Was this a team I thought we'd land? Honestly, no. Do I love this move more than I did a couple weeks ago? Absolutely. This is the gold standard of FCS football that we are bringing in. They've won 10 national titles since 2011. They have a 186-21 record in that time span, and they have marquee wins over big-time T4 programs like Iowa, K-State, Minnesota, and a couple more. That's just the ones I could think of off the top of my head. So the name carries weight. And when you're trying to strengthen a conference after losing big brands like Boise, Fresno State, and San Diego State, you just can't replace all that production by adding filler teams. But what you can do, hopefully try to fill the reputation of those schools leaving. And that's what NDSU brings immediately. Before I go a little too overboard with glazing them, I just want to make this clear. To me, as an outsider looking in at that program, they understand something that most G6 programs struggle with. When you are already behind the 8 ball nationally, as many of us are, it is very important for you to perform in non-con games. And NDSU were great at that during their FCS run. They rarely lost outside of the Missouri Valley Conference. As long as they adopt that same mentality on the way up, this not only will help them when it comes to national rankings, but it'll help the entire Mountain West. Because let's face it, even with the traders mentioned, a lot of times the Mountain West would end up screwing itself later in the season because we lost key games early to other G6 conferences. Look, this is just a big shout out to our commissioner, Big Glow, Gloria Nevarez. She could have settled for someone that was a less respected name, but geographically made sense. We will talk about that team a little bit too. But she went big game hunting instead and landed the biggest FCS brand possible. And then given the fact that they're paying to join this conference, great deal. So shout out to Gloria. Speaking of that team that more than likely was going to end up with us at some point, at least that's what I felt, Sacramento State. Look, I don't hate that program. I actually kind of hope that they end up doing something because I love West Coast football. But I think that move to the MAC feels not only rushed, it's ridiculous. Just the idea of traveling from Sacramento to Ypsilanti on a Wednesday night is not ideal for any football program. And you got to put this on leadership. I'm not in the boardrooms. I'm a fan at the end of the day. Everyone involved with the Hornets seems confused. Whether it was messy financial transparency that other conferences like the Pac-12 and the Mountain West wanted from this team, or the third-party funding rumors that were haunting this school, it always felt like they wanted to move up for the sake of moving up. And to be honest, the way that they've handled this not only hurts them in future negotiations, but it hurts West Coast football as a whole. As I've stated on multiple occasions, I am a USC UNLV football fan first, but I will always root for the West Coast teams outside of Oregon, UCLA, Nevada, even the teams that are kind of being douchebags right now that are in the new Pac-12. At the end of the day, I want football out west to matter. So I'll leave it at, I hope they succeed and become attractive to the Mountain West or the Pac one day, because that Sacramento market could be valuable long term. Right now though, it feels unstable. The only plus is we will get the Ballsack game at some point next season, and I cannot wait just for the pure comedy of seeing those two teams next to each other. Anyways, back to the NDSU Mountain West partnership. Does this make us better? Flat out, yes, absolutely. And I think a conference that features the Bison, the Rebels, the Rainbow Warriors, LOBO'S, and the rest of the league makes this collective a must-watch for the casual fan. More importantly, for the national media, because that's who we have to appeal to if we want to make it into the playoff. My personal thoughts on this. Look, I'll say it right now. If things break the right way, the Mountain West can become the top G6 entity any given year. And I know AAC fans and PAC fans might hate that. I don't care. In my eyes, I think it does make the Mountain West undeniably a top 3 G6 conference. I can see either one of us three taking the G6 playoff spot every other year. I think the main goal for the G6, though, is to eventually win a playoff game, given the fact that they don't want us in the playoff. Moving on to the schedule now, because here's where it gets interesting. My top 3 possible conference winners I will leave till the end, and I think it's no surprise where I'll go with that, except for one team that we will start with, and that is the newcomer, North Dakota State. Now, a quick look at this. I see 5-3, maybe 6-2 in conference, and that's not me trying to big bro the new team that's coming in. I just think the road games that they have are very tricky. Like the Air Force game, that's not going to be an easy game. They play extremely well at home, but ultimately I think that's a game they should win. Now, to the games I have them losing. Hawaii, again, we don't call it the Hawaii test for no reason in this conference. It is a real thing. They know how to play bigger, slower teams, even if that team is more physical than them at home. They just always have been a different animal in Honolulu. You almost need prior experience there before playing them to win that game. New Mexico is a tough game for them that I think they lose. LOBO'S fans pack out that stadium when they're good. We saw it last year against San Diego State, a team that they probably should have lost to, but they came back to win that game. And they are a lot better this year in regards to talent compared to last year. You also have to factor in Jason Eck has had experience facing this North Dakota State team. And of course, the big game. UNLV is really good in Allegiant against everyone in the MWC except for Boise. I mean, I hate the fact I had to bring that up, but I could see them possibly winning this conference. They'll compete immediately, but year one on the road in this league is not forgiving according to the schedule. And I always take the under for a new team joining a conference. Moving on to the other newcomer, NIU. Not gonna lie, this feels like a transition year. I see 2-6, maybe 3-5 if things break the right way. They struggled to score last year, and that was before they lost their head coach. Now that they have, and they're gonna have to consistently travel west, it's gonna be rough. Keeping on the trend of new teams in the Mountain West, UTEP, I see 0-8 to a possible 3-5. The swing games for them are going to be Nevada, San Jose State, and Wyoming. To me, it looks like a foundational year. Like, they're going to have to restart everything. They lost some key players to the portal. Unfortunately, I really wanted to see a UNLV UTEP game. I think the clash of the orange and blue and the scarlet and gray would have been a perfect uniform combination. We'll eventually see it. Just kind of sucks it wasn't this year. All right, starting with the OG Mountain West teams. Air Force, look, the Falcons are impossible to predict, and that's because Academy ball is weird. They can go 2-6 or randomly win every game in conference. It is the weirdest thing with this football team. So to stay safe, I'll say 3-5, maybe 4-4. Moving on to the disgusting Wolf Puppies, UNR. I don't like them, but I do think they are improving. Even though I thought they should have moved on from Jeff Choate, they clearly believe in him. So I'm going to say 0-8 because they're trash. All right, look, I had to get that one out. 2-6, maybe 4-4 if their swing games hit. Still, Reno sucks. They're gross. So I'm moving on. San Jose State. This is a do or die year for Coach Ken. They were supposed to be a top 3 team last year in the Mountain West. They were very disappointing. So with that in mind, I see 3-5. The highest I'll go is 6-2. That's just because I know they could score points. They are the most volatile team in this conference because I feel they have the coaching and they've shown the ability to win against the top of this league. Moving on to Wyoming. Looking at this 2-6 or 3-5 in conference, it comes down to non-con wins for bowl eligibility. If they can get some upsets there, then I could really see them maybe putting together more wins. As of right now, I'm gonna lean more 2-6 though. All right, here comes the contenders, the big 3 of the conference as of right now. The Mountain West's best chances at a playoff spot. Hawaii, they are scary, and the schedule sets up beautifully for them. Their toughest games are at home. The Honolulu Flu goes through this conference on a yearly basis. So to me, I think at the most, they'll lose one league game game, say 7-1. I think they'll probably lose one game this year. Best case scenario, I can see 8-0. Worst case, I see 6-2. So either way, they are absolutely in this title race. According to ESPN, they're a playoff team. Moving on to New Mexico, Jason Eck did an unbelievable job with this team last year, but this year is different. They're no longer the hunter. They are being hunted now. I see 6-2 right now. They can go 8-0. Personally, I think they're going to lose to Hawaii on the road and then UNLV at home. Those are swing games though. They can go either way. I understand that. A championship contender, absolutely. I just think ultimately it runs through Las Vegas. Let's talk about my Rebels. Here's the truth. Is this schedule tough? Yes, at least compared to last year. But call me crazy, I think this is our year. Hardest games are clear: North Dakota State at home, Hawaii, and at New Mexico. Looking at each one, I just feel like last year when we lost to New Mexico at home, it was a little bit fluky. If we didn't turn the ball over as many times as we did, we would have won that game. I get that's a part of football, but let's be honest, not all wins are equal. They had a chance to blow us out, they had their foot on our neck, and somehow we came back in that game and led midway through the fourth. Take that for what you will. Also, looking at our Ninth Island Showdown rival Hawaii now, we've kind of owned Hawaii the last 2 seasons. So I'd give us the edge in both of those big games. The only team that kind of worries me, and it's because they play a little bit like the kryptonite to UNLV football, which would be the Boise State Broncos, would be North Dakota State. But at the same time, we should have the athletes to beat them in that game. I feel at this level, they're not going to be able to score early and sit on the ball every week. I could be wrong about that, but I think you should look at the NDSU versus Colorado game to a far lesser extent, but the same idea. One thing I know for sure, Dan Mullen's offense will score. Ultimately though, as I've stated previously in other videos, that if you're a UNLV fan, I think you should watch. The season hinges on one thing, and that's Paul Guenther's defense. If it is even average, this is an 8-0 conference team. We're playing in early December for the conference title at Allegiant. So the worst case I could see is 6-2. My expectation and hope is for an 8-0 conference season. You can call me biased. I don't care. This is our year. I could just feel it.
God bless the Mountain West Conference, God bless the Rebels, and God bless the United States of America, land of the free because of the brave.
Well, that's all I got for y'all today. This would be my overview of the MWC. Mountain West fans, I think we can all agree this conference got very interesting. We might not have the brands we once had, at least the same amount, but we do have more depth today than we did a couple months ago. We have intrigue, and personally, I think we have a path to the playoff. If you enjoy stuff like this, think about leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. Most importantly though, drop a comment. I love responding to as much as I can. And with the offseason usually being a dead void of news when it comes to football, I might have to bring back a series I started last year, at least to keep things active while news is slow. Either way, I appreciate y'all for watching, and see ya.